everybody. It's a bright sunny afternoon, so bright we've had to draw the curtains a bit, but you can still be dazzled by these 6 gongs that my student Richard has kindly brought over for me to check out. They are extraordinary looking, as you can tell. They're made by an Italian couple, and they're called Grotta Sonora, which, if my Italian is any good, which is not, roughly translated means sonic grotto or sonic cave, because they're designed to be played in or originally to be played in caves, although they'll, as we'll see, they're going to sound interesting anywhere you take them. They look amazing, as you can see. You don't need me to tell you how fantastic they look. I should remind you, if you're interested in all things gongs and gonging and related topics, then do subscribe to our channel and hit the notification bell and give us a thumbs up, and then you'll get notified about future videos. But this afternoon we want to talk about these Grotta Sonora gongs, and as I say, we've got 6 here, and they've all got really characteristic sounds. One thing that's worth mentioning is that they're very different apart from looking really, really amazingly beautiful, they're made of a very different alloy to the gongs that I'm certainly used to. I understand they're made of an alloy of stainless steel, which is an unusual metal to find in gongs, stainless steel and nickel silver. Nickel silver is very common in European gongs, but stainless steel isn't. So it's a very interesting sound that they make, which is unlike any other gongs that I've ever heard. So I think what we're going to do is have a go at sounding each of these in turn, like giving you a little brief description of each, and then, most interesting to me, to discover which ones I think sound the nicest together. I've only had kind of a few minutes to play these, so I'm almost as new to them as you are, but I've already deduced that there are some that actually sound really interesting together, so we'll check that out too. So the first one, this is called the Lotus gong, and we can see why. I'm not going to describe what it looks like, everybody can see. I've been told that this central playing surface is the most resonant of the gong, and it certainly seems to me to be that, although you can play it elsewhere on the surface. So I'm going to play with a couple of different mallets, starting in the middle, and then we'll see how we go. So the Lotus gong. Wow, very distinctive voice for me. I mean, these gongs sound so different to the gongs that I'm used to playing, due to the alloy mainly, but This one has got a very distinct voice, I think you will have heard. I mean, a very, very focused sound. It's easy to overplay it, I think. It's very forthright. This almost feels like a living being talking. I was going to say human voice projecting when you play it, and it's interesting to play it with different mallets. I actually prefer it with a slightly fatter mallet. I think exploring what different mallets sound like with these gongs is going to be something worth doing too. But anyway, that's the Lotus gong. A very distinct voice, I would say, very, very distinct. So I think we're ready to move on to the next. Well, this is the second one, and this is the oddest gong that I've ever come across, really. I'm aware that these makers in Italy, before they started making gongs, they experimented with various scrap metals, all sorts of materials, making musical percussive instruments. And I know that one of the things that they made were instruments with strings. And this is a combination of a harp and a gong, and it's called a harp gong. And it's extraordinary in that it's got these strings strung across the top half of the face of the gong. Now, I thought that these were just designed to resonate with the sound of the gong, but in fact, the idea is to play them either before or along, I'm not quite sure. Richard reckons you play the harp strings and then you play the gong. Well, I actually was experimenting playing them both together, so I'll do a bit of both. The actual gong itself, again, is very distinctive tone. It's very different to our Lotus gong we were looking at earlier. But let me give you a demonstration. Let me try in my novice way with this gong. I think everybody's going to be a novice with this gong, apart from the makers. Let's see how it sounds, shall we? I've sounded the harp part strings, but I don't know, viewers, whether you can tell. We've got a little slight rattle on this gong when I'm playing with the mallet, because unfortunately one of the strings broke when we were setting it up. They're like guitar strings, so it's going to be easy to replace, but it means that the tuning rod is rattling a little bit. But I don't think that interfered too much with our experience of the sound. I think this is the trickiest one to get used to playing, just because of this peculiar combination of strings and gong. But I can imagine that once you've practiced combining the two, that you could get some real novel sound experiences out of the combination of the two, the sounding of the gong and playing the harp strings. We're on to our third gong already, and this one really is extraordinary looking. We've got this amazing engraving on the surface of the gong of a dragon. It's a dragon gong, consequently. One of the two makers is an artist and is inspired to do these engravings on the gong. Apparently you can, by order, get different engravings depending on what you want. We've got this very, very beautiful, exquisitely engraved dragon, and we'll see now. I'm going to give it a go playing it. It's got a kind of a dragon's roar to it as well. I think that was the idea. So let's give it a try. I'll use this. These are the recommended mallets to use with this Ollie Hess mallet, but I actually prefer this softer, fatter one. But let's try both. One thing that I've quickly learned playing these gongs is that it's actually really easy to overplay them. You feel as though you want to give them more welly, as we say in English, more volume. But actually, to me, they sound the best at kind of medium loud. We've got the dragon roaring at medium loud. If you go over the board, the sound really starts to break up. I think it's very sensitive to what kind of mallet you use, but this is very early, my response to playing these. And then the other thing that I always say to people when we've got new gongs around is that they do mellow over time as you play them in, so to speak. It's like running in a car. You don't want to drive at 100 miles an hour straight away. So this is our dragon gong, and very distinctive voice. Okay, so this is the first of our small gongs. These are, incidentally, all these three small gongs we're looking at are 26-inch in diameter compared to 34 inches for the larger gongs. So this one is our first 26, and this one is called Stargate and has a very characteristic sound. Again, very focused and powerfully strong sound. Let's give it a go. So, as I said, a very strong, pronounced bass tone. The basic tone of the instrument is very forthright on this gong. Not so many harmonics, apparently. The harmonics are there, but they are dominated by this very powerful central voice. The second of our smaller gongs, this you might have guessed what the sound of this one. This is an om gong. We've got our om symbol in the middle, which is a bit of a giveaway. This is such a different sound, a different sense of energy from it compared to our first small gong, the Stargate. The om gong, much more diffuse sound actually, not quite so focused, and it's almost as if it's singing om to itself, it seems to me. Let's again give this one a go. So I fancy this one could be quite popular. I don't know, I've got a feeling about this one. I think this one really has got a really powerful energy and that people will find it particularly appealing. My personal view. Okay, so the third of the smaller gongs and the sixth of all the gongs together. So this is our last one to focus on. And it's called the Sunbeam. And I fancy, if I push to be asked which is my favourite so far on this cursory quick trip round them, I think probably this one's the most appealing to me. It's got such a rich, full flavoured sound. See what you think. The other thing about this gong, in my view, most of these gongs are most expressive when you're playing kind of fairly slow single strokes. Whereas this gong, if I feel as though I can build up a sound with it and it creates reflections particularly strongly, and it's got this, again, it's one of the more powerful voiced, I think, of these six. And so, as I said, if I'm pushed to say which one I think is my favourite, I think on first play it would be this one, the Sunburst. So that's our 6 in a row. So now we had a chance to hear all the gongs individually. Now I'm going to have a go at playing them all at the same time. So wish me luck, everyone.